Hello! Thank you for stopping on my video. My name is Becky and this is Becxreadz. I post videos every 5 days, and if I can manage, I will squeeze some in between. So today is a collab video with several lovely booktubers, and I will leave all of their channels tagged down below, as well as a playlist of all the videos we will be releasing today, so you can hit that and just watch all of them at once. There are, I believe, 9 of us. And today we are sharing with you books that feature our favorite settings. I am constantly saying, I love this setting. So I thought, why not share with you some of the books that include some of my favorite settings? First off, we are going to start with a very popular one, and that is Velaris from A Court of Mist and Fury. I love Velaris. I can so vividly picture it. I would love to live there. I'm not too fond of the cold. But because it can be like temperature controlled, I think I would really enjoy it. I could easily see myself strolling through the streets, visiting all the little shops next to the sea, living in a cute little house at the base of the mountains, the snow, starfall. It's just magical. I want to live there. Aside from Velaris though, I also wouldn't mind living in the summer court because I do love the beach and I do love the sunshine. So anywhere within those two courts, I would just love to live. My next favorite setting is one that I say all the time. I love circus settings. In real life, I've never even been to a circus. They kind of freak me out. The closest I've ever come is going to Circus in Las Vegas. But I love reading about them. Something about circuses in books just capture my attention. So one of my favorite circus settings is Caraval. I loved being in this world. I don't think I could survive it as a player, but if I were one of the actors in Caraval, I think I would have a grand old time. All the magic and the mystique of it just sucked me in, and it was another one that I could just so vividly picture that I would love to be a participant of that. But not all the books that I've read with circus or carnival settings are places that I would actually love to go, because some of them are pretty dark circuses. But Caraval is definitely one that I would love to be a part of. Forest settings. I love books that take place in the forest. And one of the books that does this the best for me is A Daughter of the Trolls by Mackenzie Catron. I loved this forest. It was so whimsical, so charming, so magical, and I loved seeing all the little creatures that lived within it. There are other books with forest settings that I have really enjoyed, but they weren't in like a super magical sense. They were very dark forests. They were very just your standard forests. And in this one, I would love to live in a little magical glen within the forest in this story that's just magically protected with all these cute little critters in it. It seemed like a great little place to live. Another one of my favorite setting choices is anything Scotland, thus Outlander. I love Scotland. Ever since I read this book, I wanted to go to Scotland, and I finally got to go last year for my birthday. My sister and I went to Edinburgh, and it was just so beautiful. I loved my time there, and we were lucky enough to go when it was having amazing weather. Like, people kept telling us their weather is never that great. So the memory that I have of Scotland is not like dreary and cold. It is sunshine and blue skies. That is the memory that I have of Scotland, and I am so glad for that, because it was so beautiful. I will have a vlog linked down below of like the bookstores I visited, and a vlog where I read books set in Scotland. It had some footage from when I went to Scotland. You should check it out. And anytime a book is said to be set in Scotland, chances are I will read it simply because of that. Another favorite setting of mine is anything sea settings or pirate ship settings, like Fable. I don't know why, because I've never really been on like a cruise ship or anything like that. I've never really been on a boat out on the ocean of any kind, but for some reason, I love the idea of being on a pirate ship. It just sounds fun to me for some reason. Don't ask me why. I am terrified of the giant sea creatures. Like, giant squid are my worst fear. Whales freak me the shit out. Sharks, I don't like them, but they don't freak me out as much. Fish in general, I don't like. So why the hell do I like sea settings so much? You got me, but I do. I find them so fun. I don't know if it's just because I love the beach and I love the sunshine, and I love the idea of being on a pirate ship. Maybe I was a pirate in a different life. I don't know. There have been other books that I've read that have been set on the sea, and that's usually one of the things that ranks it so highly for me, is because it has a sea setting. And I actually was a Fable last year for Halloween because I enjoyed being Fable so much. So, sea settings. Don't ask me why. Another one of my favorite settings is a place that I could actually go, and that is anything set in Iceland. Iceland is a place that I would love to visit. And one of the series that does that for me is the Legends of the Storm series by Beck McMaster. This is a Dragon Shifter series that is set in Iceland, like historic Iceland. I want to go there. I've seen pictures of it. It's so beautiful. The volcanoes and the snow and the waterfalls. It's just so freaking beautiful. So if a book is set in Iceland, chances are I will read it. Another setting that I absolutely love but doesn't work for me all the time are magical libraries. Not just any library, they have to have some sort of magical realism element to them. One book that I can think of that does this is The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. It allows this woman to go to this library and pull a book off the shelf that is a version of a choice in life that she could have made. I fucking love that whole idea. You give me anything with magical books in it, or a library that has like some sort of magical atmosphere, and I am down for it. Speaking of The Midnight Library by Matt Haig, another one of my favorite settings is anything in the hereafter. Like, what happens when we die? Where do we go? What happens? I love that concept in stories. That is something that will draw me to a book really quickly. It doesn't matter like what the whole premise is. Like in this one, it's a library. In something else, it could be just a random place. In another place, it could be like a totally different universe. Whatever. I love hereafter settings because I'm so curious about what happens when we die. Where do we go? Where does our soul go? I don't know. Fascinates the crap out of me. So if you say something is of that nature, I will read it. Which is why I enjoyed this one so much. Magical Library, Hereafter. I mean, hello. And the last book I have to share with you is one that has a very specific setting in it, and it's very specific to this book, much like Valaris is to ACOTAR. And that is The Planet in I Married a Naga. This was so beautiful, so lush, so green. It had cute little creatures in it. These aliens live in these houses that are sort of carved into the side of a mountain and rock, and I just thought that was so beautiful. It's got waterfalls, and it's just so damn beautiful. And that was one of my favorite things about reading this story, was the setting. This was actually my favorite book from last year. I did a 6-star in-depth review of it, which I will link down below if you want to go check it out. But I would love to live on this planet, especially if you could give me a Snake Man husband here. So those are some of my favorite settings and some books that feature my favorite settings. So let me know down in the comments what your favorite setting is. Thank you once again to my fellow booktubers for collaborating on this video. Be sure to check out their channels. Be sure to subscribe to them if you haven't already. And if you've made it this far in the video, could you leave me the sea emoji? Because that is one of my favorite settings. Thank you so much for watching, and read a book with your favorite setting in it. Bye!